What if the most important things in your life were never really chosen by you? Your fears, your ambitions, your idea of success, your idea of failure, the people you trust, the people you fear, the things you call normal, the things you call impossible. Most of us like to believe we are independent thinkers. We believe our opinions are ours, our desires are ours, our values are ours, our identity is ours. But then, a strange question appears. If you had been born in another country, to another family, inside another religion, under another government, with another language, another school, another history, and another algorithm feeding your mind every day, how much of you would still be the same? That question is where this channel begins. Not with politics, not with philosophy, not with technology, but with a simple suspicion. Maybe we do not only live inside visible structures, maybe we also live inside invisible ones. Structures of fear, structures of belief, structures of power, structures of desire, structures of attention. And maybe the most powerful architecture in the world is not the one built around us. It is the one built inside us. I am Adrian Locke, and this is the Hidden Architecture. There is a reason I call it architecture. Architecture is not just decoration. It does not only make a place look beautiful. Architecture shapes movement. A corridor tells you where to walk. A wall tells you where you cannot go. A window decides what you can see. A door decides who may enter. A ceiling defines the height of the room. Now imagine an invisible architecture. A culture tells you what is shameful. A family tells you what is respectable. A school tells you what is intelligent. A government tells you what is dangerous. A religion tells you what is sacred. A market tells you what is valuable. A crowd tells you what is acceptable. An algorithm tells you what is relevant. And slowly, without noticing it, you begin to move inside a structure you did not design. You call it life. You call it common sense. You call it reality. But part of it was built before you arrived. This does not mean you are powerless. It does not mean everything about you is fake. It does not mean you have no agency. It means something more uncomfortable. Before we can truly choose, we have to understand the room in which our choices are being made. Think about one simple example. Success. Almost everyone wants to be successful, but very few people stop and ask, successful according to whom? For one person, success means wealth. For another, fame. For another, freedom. For another, family approval. For another, escaping the life they were born into. For another, proving someone wrong. But how many of these desires were truly chosen, and how many were inherited? Maybe your idea of success came from your parents. Maybe it came from your childhood wounds. Maybe it came from the school system. Maybe it came from the humiliation you once felt. Maybe it came from social media. Maybe it came from watching other people being admired for things you never really wanted. And one day, you may wake up inside a life you worked very hard to build, only to realize that the blueprint was never yours. That is hidden architecture. Not a conspiracy, not a secret organization, not a single person controlling everything. A structure, a set of forces, a quiet design. A pattern that shapes your choices before you experience them as choices. Now think about belief. Most people believe they believe things because they have carefully examined them, because they are rational, because they have evidence, because they thought deeply and reached a conclusion. Sometimes that is true. But often, belief comes first. Reasoning arrives later. Not to discover the truth, but to defend what the mind already needed to believe. A belief is not just an idea. A belief can be a shelter. A belief can be a weapon. A belief can be a prison. A belief can be a passport into a tribe. That is why people do not abandon beliefs simply because they hear better arguments. Because when you challenge someone's belief, You may not be challenging a sentence in their head. You may be threatening their identity, their family, their community, their childhood, their dignity, their place in the world. So the deeper question is not only, is this belief true? The deeper question is, what does this belief do for the person who holds it? Does it protect them from uncertainty? Does it give them superiority? Does it explain their suffering? Does it excuse their cruelty? Does it give order to a chaotic universe? Does it make them feel less alone? Every belief has an architecture, and if you cannot see that architecture, you will misunderstand both faith and fanaticism. Now think about power. Most people imagine power as something visible: a president, a king, a police force, an army, a billionaire, a corporation, a platform. But power is rarely only where it appears to be. Power can be in the law, but it can also be in the language used to describe the law. Power can be in censorship, but it can also be in the quiet decision to censor yourself. Power can be in violence, but it can also be in the fear of possible violence. Power can be in a ruler, but it can also be in the story that convinces people they need a ruler. Sometimes power does not need to force you. It only needs to shape the room. And once the room is designed well enough, you may call obedience common sense. You may call fear responsibility. You may call conformity morality. You may call control safety. That is why power is not just political. Power is psychological. Power is cultural. Power is emotional. Power is technological. Power is not only the hand that pushes you. Sometimes power is the invisible wall that makes you believe there was never another direction to walk. And then there is freedom. Almost everyone says they love freedom, but freedom is more frightening than it sounds. Freedom is not only the absence of chains. Freedom is responsibility. Freedom is uncertainty. Freedom is the loneliness of thinking without permission. Freedom is the possibility of being wrong without someone else to blame. Many people say they want freedom, but what they truly want is safety, certainty, belonging, a map, a leader, a tribe, a voice that says, "This is good, this is evil, these are your people, those are your enemies. Follow this path and you will be saved." So perhaps the real question is not, why do humans lose freedom? Perhaps the deeper question is, why do humans so often trade freedom for certainty? A society can offer freedom and still produce people who are terrified of using it. A person can live without visible chains and still carry an internal prison. And sometimes the most dangerous prison is the one that feels like identity. Technology has made this even more complicated. Because technology is usually presented to us as a tool, neutral, efficient, helpful, progressive. But technology is never only a tool. Every technology rearranges human behavior. The printing press changed authority. The camera changed memory. Television changed politics. The internet changed attention. Social media changed identity. Artificial intelligence may change thought itself. The question is not simply, what can this technology do? The question is, what kind of human does this technology quietly produce? Does it make us more independent or more dependent? More informed or more distracted? More connected or more performative? More free or more predictable? The most powerful technologies are not always the ones that force us to obey. They are the ones that make us participate voluntarily in our own redesign. We click, we scroll, we like, we share, we confess, we compare, we perform. We train the machine with our desires. And then we are surprised when the machine knows how to hold us. This is not science fiction. This is architecture. Invisible, adaptive, intimate architecture. So what is this channel really about? It is not about telling you what to think. It is not about giving you easy answers. It is not about chasing every new scandal, every viral outrage, every political drama, every technological panic. The world already has enough noise. This channel is about the structure beneath the noise. In each episode, we will take one question and go underneath it. Not only what happened, but why it became possible. Not only what people say, but what their words are protecting. Not only what a system claims to be, but what it rewards, what it punishes, what it hides, and what kind of human being it produces. We will talk about power, freedom, belief, technology, propaganda, obedience, identity, mass psychology, control, truth, and the fragile space where individual conscience tries to survive. But more than anything, we will return to one question again and again. Who built the room inside your mind? This question matters because shallow thinking is not harmless. Shallow thinking makes people easy to control. When people cannot see structure, they fight over symptoms. They attack faces. They repeat slogans. They confuse performance with courage. They confuse outrage with understanding. They confuse information with wisdom. But the world is not only shaped by bad people doing bad things. The world is also shaped by normal people obeying normal rules inside abnormal systems. Good intentions can build dangerous institutions. Victims can become oppressors. Liberators can become rulers. Moral language can hide immoral incentives. Intelligent people can believe absurd things when those absurd things protect their identity. That is why we need depth. Not because depth makes us superior, but because without depth, we mistake the visible world for the whole world, and it is never the whole world. If you're looking for slogans, this may not be the right place. If you want every episode to confirm what you already believe, you may feel uncomfortable here. If you want certainty without complexity, this channel will disappoint you. But if you are interested in the hidden mechanics of human life, if you want to understand why people obey, why societies collapse, why beliefs survive evidence, why technology seduces, why freedom frightens, and why power almost always speaks the language of virtue, then you are in the right place. This is not a channel about the surface. It is a channel about the structure, the system beneath the story, the incentive beneath the morality, the fear beneath the ideology, the machine beneath the performance, the architecture beneath everything. So this is where we begin. Not with answers, with a method. Look beneath the event. Look beneath the slogan. Look beneath the emotion. Look beneath the institution. Look beneath the belief. Ask what is being rewarded. Ask what is being hidden. Ask who benefits. Ask what fear is being activated. Ask what kind of human being this structure is trying to produce. And above all, ask this: is this thought truly mine, or was it built inside me? The world is full of visible noise, but beneath the noise there is structure. Beneath the structure there is power. Beneath power there is fear. And beneath fear there is the oldest human question: can we become free enough to see the walls? I am Adrian Locke. This is the Hidden Architecture, and this is where we begin.